Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, ECCB projects economic growth for Dominica in 2023 and 2024. Government remains committed to local government reform, and 2023-2024 national budget to place emphasis on the blue and green economy. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. Governor of the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, Timothy Antwine, says while global economic growth has slowed down from 3.4 to 2.8%, Dominica will record growth this year and next year in the areas of tourism, agriculture, and public infrastructure. The ECCB wrapped up its country outreach mission to Dominica on Thursday as part of the bank's 40th anniversary activities. Bank representatives met with government, private sector officials, and civil society. They discussed priority areas such as renewable energy and the international airport and how the bank could assist in advancing these projects.
I want to start by saying the global growth has slowed in the global economy. A lot of that has to do with high inflation, but also the war in Ukraine. And at this moment, if you look from last year to now, there has been a slowdown in the global economy. The US, Europe, and so on. Having said that, we do see threats and opportunities, but our focus is on the opportunities. We must acknowledge threats, we must mitigate threats, but we have to seize opportunities. And what we're saying to you this morning is that as far as we can see, our projections are we will have growth in Dominica this year and next year, around 3%, could be higher depending on the implementation of projects. And that growth is going to be driven or powered by recovery in tourism, food production, agriculture, and investment in public infrastructure.
The ECCB governor says after 4 decades, the EC dollar continues to maintain its strength, which is what promotes investor confidence.
Our EC dollar remains very strong. At the moment, it is back 91.6 cents in foreign reserves. What does that mean? In simple terms, for every dollar in circulation in Dominica and the currency union with demand liabilities, the backing is 92 cents in foreign reserves. $1 EC dollar, and you have 92 cents in foreign reserves. What does the law require of us? 60%. So the law says 60, we are at 92. And I will tell you, even in the pandemic, when it came down, it used to be 100, it came down to around 90, it's going back up again, and we expect that it will continue to rise. We have weathered the storm extremely well, and your EC dollar remains strong. And I remind you that the parity which was set in 1976, 1 US 2.7 EC, remains intact after 47 years. That is a model of monetary stability.
The theme of the ECCB's 40th anniversary is building resilience for high and sustainable growth. Governor Antwine told reporters at a press conference on Thursday the anniversary theme is appropriate for Dominica because of the economic shocks the country has endured over the years. He also pointed to Dominica's stated ambition after Hurricane Maria to become the first climate-resilient country in the world. He says the region saw the worst contraction in growth on record as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. The ECCB governor wants business owners in the region to broaden their vision beyond their own countries and appreciate the wider market that is available to them.
We are a regional organization, and we like our people in the currency union and here in Dominica to think about a regional economy. If you think Dominica only, you're thinking about an economy with a size of 1.2 billion and with a population of, say, 72,000. I know it varies depending on what the census, we'll see what the next census says. But if you think regionally, then the regional economy is in fact 21.2 billion and it's 650,000 people. And if you're in small business, for example, that is the market you need to target. Stop complaining about the fact that Dominica is too small, you need more people. Yes, I think you need more people. The population increase would be fine. Dominica is our largest island in the currency union. But if you think that about the market as beyond Dominica, as the 650,000, then you begin to see more opportunities for you to sell your goods and services. And that's an important mental construct if you're in business.
Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit says the 2023-2024 budget will promote inclusive economic development and will emphasize the advancement of the blue and green economy. Speaking at his bi-weekly press conference on May 10, Prime Minister Skerrit said government would continue to exercise great responsibility and care where Dominica is concerned.
The budget will be transparent and it will promote inclusive economic development, harnessing the advances we have made in renewable energy development, the construction of international airport, hotel development, and agriculture. And as we have always done, we will present a fiscal package which is responsive to the needs of our people, but also a reflection of the responsible approach we have always taken in the management of this country's affairs.
Dominica has drawn great admiration for its sustainable approach to the environment. Prime Minister Skerrit says that government will partner with the international agencies for policy advice in relation to the protection of the environment.
There will also be a very clear policy direction of our efforts to advance the blue economy. We believe in the government that there are huge potentials, and a lot of the positive comments we're receiving and accolades that we're receiving from various publications is in large measure due to our respect for the environment and what we're doing in respect to our oceans. And we are working with international partners who have been advising us on some additional policy action we can take to set Dominica apart insofar as its protection of the marine space and its economy.
Prime Minister Skerrit said the Minister of Finance, Economic Development, Climate Resilience and Social Security, Dr. the Honorable Irvin McIntyre, will continue consultations with various stakeholders as part of the preparations for the budget. GIS will feature further details of the components of the 2023-2024 budget upon their announcement. As Dominica observes the 34th anniversary of Local Government Month, Minister with responsibility for local government, Honorable Greta Roberts, says government is fully committed to local government reform. The Dominica Labour Party administration is aware that local government is closer to the populace and is in a better position to provide quick responses to localized issues. Minister Roberts says government is mindful of the numerous challenges faced by local government authorities in efficient and effective administration of councils.
It is for this reason that government is fully committed to local government reform as part of its policy on decentralization. This policy seeks to provide and restore as appropriate the necessary powers, authority, and responsibilities to local authorities to allow them to be more responsive and efficient. I want to congratulate the Division of Local Government, Dominica Association of Local Community Authorities, and all councils for your hard work in promoting local government in Dominica and for your achievements over the years. I pray for continued divine guidance and strength as we all play our part in moving Dominica forward.
The month of May is observed annually as Local Government Month. This year's observance is being observed under the theme, A More Resilient Local Government that Delivers Quality Service. The Prime Minister has once again expressed his disappointment as government has not yet received the report from Sir Dennis Byron in relation to electoral modernization in Dominica. Sir Dennis Byron, who is a former president of the Caribbean Court of Justice and former Chief Justice of the Eastern Caribbean Supreme Court, was engaged by Cabinet in 2020 to serve as the sole commissioner to advance efforts towards electoral reform in Dominica. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the final report, which was originally due in December of 2020, was delayed. However, Prime Minister Skerrit stated that the report, which was expected in March 2023, has not yet been received.
I expressed my frustration on the fact that we have not received the report. The report was promised to us on March 2023, in May. And this is concerning to me because we absolutely in our country need to set this issue of electoral modernization, electoral reform aside, and focus on equally more important matters, or equally important matters of the state. This is a commitment we gave, and as I've said to Sir Dennis, and of course, you know, we had the challenges of COVID-19 and the slowdown of this. My view is, at whatever stage the final report is, submit it to the people of Dominica, and let us take it from there.
Prime Minister Skerrit explained that while government is ready to move forward with consultations with stakeholders for the finalization of legislation to bring to Parliament, the final report is required to move forward with those plans.
When I attended the symposium in Trinidad, I raised with my CARICOM heads and the Secretary General that I will also want the CARICOM to step in to play a part with a view to advancing some of the fundamental elements of the electoral modernization process in Dominica. And so it's concerning for us. This matter was discussed in Cabinet yesterday again. It's a matter that we discuss every week and seeking a follow-up. You know, we're ready to move with the consultations and the finalization of the bills and the policy position, and go to Parliament and enact the new legislation. The drafts have been prepared. So Dennis will have had a first draft. There were some refinements I understand being done, and our view is submit whatever is available and let the people of Dominica proceed with what we believe to be the fundamental elements of our electoral modernization process.
The Prime Minister reassured citizens that electoral modernization remains a priority for government. He noted that upon receiving the final report, it will be made public as government moves forward to implement the recommendations made by Sir Dennis Byron into law.
I don't want anybody to ever think that we are not serious about this matter. You know, so I don't want to say too much on this for fear of saying things I shouldn't say, because of my frustration on this. But it is of extreme concern to us. Submit the report, submit the draft bills, let us go to consultation with the Dominican people, and let the Dominican people determine what are the 3 or 4 fundamental elements that can shape the electoral modernization process of Dominica, and give the authority to the Electoral Commission and the Electoral Office to go ahead and implement what Parliament would have approved. But the moment we receive this report and the draft bills, it will go to the public immediately and have a very efficient consultative process, and let us go to Parliament on this.
CEO of the International Airport Development Company, Mr. Samuel Johnson, says they are nearing the commencement of construction on the airport. The Dominica International Airport project is the biggest contracted project in the history of the country. It will present numerous opportunities for socio-economic growth as jobs become available during and after its construction for residents of Wesley and Dominica by extension. China Railway No. 5 Engineering Group Company Limited, or CR5, was awarded the $1 billion EC plus contract for the Dominica International Airport project. CR5 was chosen to undertake the design, construction, supply, completion, testing, and commissioning of the international airport, meant to serve as a premier global gateway to Dominica. Mr. Johnson says the contractor has been mobilized and is getting ready for construction.
I often talk about the project in 4 stages: getting ready to construction, getting ready to operate, and then finally operations. CR5 is in that zone right now, or the project actually is in that zone between getting ready to construct and constructing. And what that entails is a mobilization of the contractor. Mm-hmm. So we've seen a few months ago the arrival of several pieces of equipment and several personnel from CR5 to the island. And the intent there being with an advanced team to really go through and get a feel for the site.
He explained that key areas have been identified and prepared for the development of the project.
They were given a lot of the initial concept documents through the tender process. They would have seen some of the preliminary geotech work. They would have seen some of the site plans and some of the preliminary designs that would have been done by Landrum and Brown, working in preparation for the project. With their arrival on site, they started getting ready key areas that would help support the development of the project. So behind me, I think you see a lot of clearing ongoing. You'll see roadways coursing through the entire project site for the facilitation of movement of personnel, equipment, and materials.
A manufacturing plant for concrete production is currently under construction.
The batch plant area is being constructed, and that really is intended to provide the production facilities for concrete, asphalt. Concrete being a key requirement for all the civil works, the culverts, the tunnel, the apron of the airport, the retaining walls that have to be built. So that area, which is pretty visible off the road right now, is going to house that facility with some offices as well, for a production facility of that magnitude.
Mr. Johnson added that as the preparation works continue, more equipment and personnel are expected to arrive on island.
They also came with part of their design team earlier in January to do a review of some of the drawings and meet with key stakeholders, and also to get a feel for the island, because one of the things you want to ensure that in the final designs there's an appreciation for the local culture, the norms, even observing they must have driven around the entire island to get a feel for the construction, the slopes, the terrain. Separate and apart from what you read in reports is another thing to actually see it and feel it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So a lot of that work has been done and is ongoing right now, and more individuals are expected, more equipment is expected.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Dominica's Prime Minister Honorable Roosevelt Skerrit and other CARICOM heads remain deeply concerned about the potential impact of Russia's war against Ukraine on energy, nuclear security, and global food security. A statement issued by the CARICOM Secretariat earlier this month reads in part, "The region urges a return to mature diplomacy and an enduring resolution to the end of the conflict." The statement also called for adherence to the purposes and principles of the United Nations Charter.
I believe Russia and Ukraine need to agree to a ceasefire on this day, to allow cool heads to discuss this matter, because the Russia-Ukraine conflict is having an untold impact on the way of life of every single citizen in our countries. The fact remains that the inflation is highly attributed to the conflict. You know, because everybody now is focusing on supplying Ukraine with ammunition and so forth, and this is taking away people from productive other sectors, and of course Russian producers of important commodities that are utilized, that are used to produce things that we consume. The cost of energy, petroleum products. So we need to get this Russia-Ukraine war conflict to come to an end.
The Prime Minister says the war in Ukraine is having a negative impact on the cost of living right here in Dominica, and government has had to find ways of responding to the economic pressures.
I believe that there are leaders around the world who have the capacity and who have the necessary ears of both Mr. Putin and Mr. Zelensky, so that we can discuss a possibility of a ceasefire in the first instance and negotiating an end to this conflict. Because this has to be done as a matter of urgency. Because how long can we continue with this? You know, we have this government has been subsidizing the population with electricity rates, with gasoline and diesel and so forth. So we really need to ensure. So I'm hoping that I don't have to deal with this issue by the time July 1 comes.
Speaking on the issue of his tenure as Prime Minister, he says it has been a challenge in many respects.
It's a difficult job, a very difficult job, very difficult job. And I've had to endure a lot as the leader, dealing with so many natural disasters and external shocks. I have been in this business from 27 years as a Member of Parliament. And it is a very demanding job. And sometimes people don't appreciate the sacrifices I have to make. You know, sometimes my children have PTA meetings and I cannot go because I'm at another school dealing with other children's issues. It is a difficult job, but my satisfaction comes from the fact that I believe, and I say so with great sense of humility, that we have helped transform this country over the last 23 years. As always, I've always been at the service of my party and at the service of the people of Dominica.
The Prime Minister says he feels a sense of urgency to get certain things done in the economy, to create more jobs, to give people, particularly the youth, a greater sense of hope. He believes the young people who have been sent to university need to be given a better deal. The government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Public Works, Public Utilities and the Digital Economy, have partnered with India-based National Commodities Management Services Limited, remote sensing instrument, for the development and analysis of a national soil mapping system. This activity falls under the component 2 of the Disaster Vulnerability Reduction Project, funded by the World Bank, International Development Association, Pilot Program for Climate Resilience, Strategic Climate Fund, and the Government of Dominica. It was officially launched in September of 2014. The project is geared at reducing Dominica's vulnerability to natural hazards and climate change impacts through the increased investment in resilient infrastructure and improved hazard data collection and monitoring systems. NCML has partnered with multiple stakeholders, including the Division of Agriculture, Forestry Division, Parks and Wildlife, and the Dominica State College for the 45-day exercise. The purpose of this project activity is to collect various soil types around Dominica so as to develop predictive models on soil properties. From these models, land use interpretations for each landscape will be created as a baseline for evaluating the impacts of management practices across various sectors. This includes agriculture, land use allocation, engineering, forestry, water resource management, among others. DVRP asks for the cooperation of the public and private landowners to facilitate the team's extraction of small samples of soils as they conduct national soil surveys. The Discover Dominica Authority, DDA, has launched a calendar of volunteerism activities in a bid to attract visitors to Dominica. Volunteerism is a form of tourism which involves visitors traveling to another destination to volunteer their time, skills, and energy with an organization, issue, or cause as part of a vacation package. The calendar of volunteerism activities focuses on assisting communities to improve the lives of residents through specific projects targeting education, agriculture, and environmental activities. Chief Executive Officer of the Discover Dominica Authority, Mr. Colin Piper, says this form of tourism is one that is beneficial to both parties.
Some people call it meaningful travel, others call it voluntourism, but the key issue is that the benefactor of the service are the local communities or the families who receive that assistance, so to speak, and both lives are enriched as a consequence. The traveler feels better about their travel and feels that they have done something meaningful during their travel, and the community who may have needed a wall painted, someone to teach for the day, someone to help with whatever, beach cleanup, those sorts of things also benefit from the service provided by the traveler.
He explained that while this was done on a grander level following Hurricane Maria, DDA is focusing on the community level.
The communities who have benefited are responding well because they appreciate the assistance, and obviously the travelers themselves feel good about the service that they've offered. So, Dominica on a whole benefited from a number of people coming after Tropical Storm Erica and after Maria, but of course that was on a grander scale and a grander level. So what we're doing is using the same kind of approach that was in place after Maria, but we're doing it on a community by community basis or on a ministry by ministry basis, depending on what sort of activity that they would like.
The Discover Dominica Authority hopes to act as a conduit between the visitors and the local communities.
So our hope is that I think we have about 5 or 6 initial projects. We would love to have more. We would like to have, we want to act as the conduit through our website where people, if they're coming to Dominica and want to look for an opportunity to work with a community, would look there and see what is happening. So to anyone who has a project, any community that has a project, and we're looking for things like, okay, every Monday come to this community and assist with X, or every, first Wednesday of the month we're going to do a beach cleanup in X, so contact us, or we're going to clean a trail, as part of, Dominica's trail system, whether it be the Waitiko National Trail or any other trail. But if there is a schedule of things to do where people can say, oh, I'll be in Dominica during that time, and so I want to be a part of that they can reach out.
He urged communities, ministries and organizations that may have activities scheduled to reach out to DDA so that they can incorporate them into the voluntourism program.
So we've set up a website, a page on our website that speaks specifically to voluntourism. As I said, we act as a conduit, and then we give them the details of the people who are actually running the program, because those people have more details and more details about what is actually happening. And so that's one of the ways that we're doing that. And we'll continue to, through social media posts and just general public relations, go out and create awareness about that aspect of the program and drive people to the website, and from the website then they can go to the specific areas.
The calendar has been launched with 6 voluntourism projects to date, including beach cleaning, tree planting and school painting. DDA is currently working with private and public sector agencies to create and promote additional opportunities for visitors as it aims to attract 200,000 visitors to the island by 2025. In sports, Alec Atanaz and Kavem Hodge have been named on the West Indies 15-man squad set to face the United Arab Emirates in an ODI series. This call-up follows amazing performances from both batsmen in the recently concluded West Indies 4-day regional championship. Atanaz, who captained the Windward Islands Volcanoes to a second-place finish, emerged as the leading run scorer with 647 runs, while Kavem Hodge had a total of 386 runs. While this is the first call-up for both Dominicans for the ODI squad, they have both had solid batting performances in the CG Insurance Super 50 Championship. The ODI series against the UAE is set to begin on June 5, 2023. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.